of the camera, please, like, do introduce yourself.
Okay, yeah, all right. So I'll speak to this one. Okay. Hey guys, how are you? My name is Alibaba. I'm a comedian. I'm an upcoming comedian, and
Upcoming.
and I am I'm quite a lot of things rolled into one: writer, photographer, um, copywriter, idea generator, social media influencer, brand ambassador, father, actor, dancer.
What? Sorry.
Yes.
Say what? You are all...
and I'm an artist. I draw too.
You're gonna have to show some dance moves. So I'm like, what?
Right, so I do all of that. Yes.
Wow, that's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I'm still gonna pick up one dance move from you. Oh wow, okay. So like, I know your dad is an educationist.
Yes.
Like, yeah, it's like is he lectured or he's a teacher?
He was in charge of Nigerian Army Education Corps.
Wow.
Yes, way back. This is the 70s.
And obviously you're a comedian. Like, how did that work out? How did that go? Like, was it hard for him to obviously,
Oh yes, it was a very hard pill for him to swallow, especially with the fact that he was expecting me to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
He expected me to either go into broadcasting, or where I've ended up there right now, as it is.
You see where he wanted you to go.
That was an option. It was like the third distant option. So what he wanted me to be was a lawyer, and the second thing he wanted me to be was a soldier. And so since I didn't become a lawyer and I didn't become a soldier, I felt he must have been disappointed in several ways, and he showed it because he then refused to be part of my education going forward. And so it was just a struggle.
Wow. Like I know, like I kind of picked up from your background that obviously I don't. If this is sensitive, tell me.
Okay.
But like if it's
Yes.
You know, and
I was just being, just managing the facts.
I mean, no, you know what? It's actually quite important to say these things because there are people actually struggling with that, and they would kind of want to know, like, how.
Okay, so
how they can
what happens most times is that as a parent now, I understand where he was coming from. So you now have kids.
Yeah.
Of your own, and your kids then tell you, I want to be a ballet dancer.
Where do you start from?
You're thinking ballet with everything that I've spent on you when you're supposed to now start making money and taking care of the family.
Wow. How do you do that?
So the situation even arose when my son then said he wanted to become a DJ. And then the second one said he wants to be a tattoo artist.
No.
I'm telling you.
What?
And I'm like, I spent so much to send you to Canada.
Wow.
You are in universities. I am expecting you to come out with degrees in forensic science and graphic artist, as a graphic designer, and you are telling me you want to. And it dawned on me that this was the same position that my dad was in at the time. Don't forget that African parents see you as a retirement plan.
True. I agree. No, it's true. So I hear every day from my dad till tomorrow. This is what I'm doing right now. Oh, Jesus is Lord.
So they see you as a retirement plan.
Yes.
And every time you deviate from that, they see their pensions going away.
Going to, yeah.
So they're like, what's wrong with this?
With this child?
They want me to be broke at my old age, And the other thing is that parents also do not want to shoulder the responsibility of taking care of grandchildren. So they want you to be financially buoyant enough to stand firm and take care of your children.
And even them at some point.
Exactly. So no financial responsibility comes from your own household to them. Unlike when the person is very rich and wealthy, even if you don't have, he takes care of all the grandchildren. The parents who they pay the house rent, pay everything, take care of the grandchildren. In fact, all the way to great grandchildren, as long as they need anything and the parents are going to take care of them. And so most of our parents who were from average homes always wanted to get to a point where they retire and then rest.
That's true. I agree. That's why. So, like, how is that now? Like, obviously, with everything that you've done so far, can I just ask, is your dad still
Oh,
around?
we're good now. But you see, it was clear from what he was saying that I should do, because he wanted me to be independent of him. He wanted me to be able to take care of some things that I'll be doing as an adult. And so that was why he had the reservation. So.
Yeah, but at least now you're doing it. You must be like super proud. Now you're giving him business. Like, Dad, I just want to take you to Canada. No, let's go to Hawaii today. I mean, it must be, what are some of the things that he's saying now that is like putting a smile on your face?
Now, I'll tell you some generational change. When I was growing up, my dad was, now they'll say he was physically violent,
Yeah.
Physical abuse on the
Trust
child.
me, yeah.
But you see, we took spanking and all of that.
True.
So sometime in 2019, he came visiting, and the boys hadn't woken up at about because they played some PlayStation 4 till about like 3-4 a.m.
I don't know what it is about PlayStation.
So when I woke up in the morning and I found out that they were still sleeping, I lost it. And I was like, is this what you guys do when you're on holiday, when you're in school? Now you're on holiday, you're supposed to be useful. No. And I was shouting. My dad came up and said, why are you shouting on the children? I was like,
do you know what I just pictured when you said that? I said no, because he wasn't like that when you were growing up. I'm thinking, what?
I said, what?
Wow.
I said, but you see, look at the time they're waking up and said, they're on holidays. I was like, wow. And then he dropped a bombshell. He said, talk to them nicely. You don't need to shout all the time. And I'm like, what? I called my mom. I said, my dad said, and so I was expecting her to be on my side. And my mom said, you need to just talk to them, don't shout to them. So I knew that at that time, for them, those were the tools that they had to work with. Now we have different tools and different.
Do you think it might be the case of as you get older, you kind of mature up, like in terms of because even now we are adults, like we are still actually learning, and then obviously now you have grandkids, you wanna you see life a bit different because you've lived life longer.
No, I think our parents didn't have the relationship that we had. We now have with our own children. Now I can sit in the room and watching the program. My kids will come in and say, "We want to watch another program."
True.
And we give the remotes to them.
True.
And
watch all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We just let them watch. But growing up as kids, even sitting in the same room with them was a lot of work.
Like I can't even come out of my room.
Exactly.
Like what am I doing? Unless they say, Mr. So or Mrs. So wants to say hi, and you go and you good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma. And then you're back.
Our children, my last daughter wakes up at about 6-7 a.m. and comes to my room and says, "Move, I want that." So she lies down. But then my father's room was sacred. The only time you get called into that room is when you want to be flogged.
So that is going to be Edbaloko. Oh shit! Wow.
So it was a different generation.
And
then the raising of children at that time also had different elements than it does now.
I didn't know that it's true. Me, so I have to be, so I understand. I do. Okay, so sometimes I do see you as a politician. Okay. I know you're dabbling like so many things. I have to put these things down because you do a lot, and I respect that. And I was like, I really want to get to the root of certain things. So yes, but obviously, like I said, you're the motivational speaker, you're a panelist, the facilitator, you just do so many things. And you speak at so many corporate events and stuff like that. So I just wanted to know, how do you do it? How do you juggle all this thing?
Okay, so what happens is there's a work chart. Okay, so if I have an event, I'll go for my event. I have a studio as well. I have a television station. And so I run that on the side. I do my management things on the side. I have a consultancy outfit where I develop ideas for people, give them marketing plans, and then.
How do you do it? Do you split yourself into like 20 people and then do like?
I take my job piecemeal. So
Wow.
I have to come do an interview here now. I do the interview and get back. I need to write certain things. I sit down and write it. If somebody wants me to do a speech for them, I'll write the speech. I can knock out the speech in 5 minutes.
Wow, it's good. Is it because you've been doing it so long?
I think it's part of a developmental process.
True.
So over the years, I've been seasoned and dipped in books. So I read a lot, I listen a lot, and I'm someone who believes that the knowledge you have now is based on how much of it you take in.
True.
So when you then need those knowledge, it then helps you because it begins to show. So I feel I have not actually emptied myself yet. I feel there's still a lot more that I can do.
Wow. Yeah.
So I plan to end up as a lecturer when I'm 60 or thereabout.
When you're 60, you become a lecturer.
I would like to teach.
Till when?
Maybe till 70 or so. We'll give 10 years of education and impact on people. And I'll be teaching African studies. That's what I want.
I know you wrote books, like the Book of First. What is the Book of First?
Okay, so let me go there. The Book of First. The first time you took a plane, you got on a plane.
This was 2002.
Okay. What was the first time you swam?
I did swim a bit when I was in secondary school, but
Have you ridden a bike before?
never. I fell off one and I said never again.
Have you gone on a roller coaster before?
Yes.
When was it?
Secondary school.
Okay. When was the first time you were involved in a car accident?
Never.
Okay.
But I almost got in one, but God.
Was it near?
Yeah. But thank God.
Okay. When was the first time you were on a television show?
Oh, when I was a child, actually.
Okay.
I was at the Vatican and we did like this, what's this man? No women, no cry.
Okay.
Yeah, Bob Marley, that's it. We did, yeah.
Alright. What was the first time you ate sushi?
That was House of Fraser. But what year was that?
Let me tell you what there is in the Book of First. It's something that chronicles all of this without you thinking about it. So you just hold the book and begin to fill them in. You find out that
fill in your own experiences.
So you find out. Have you been to Paris?
I have.
What was the first time you went to Paris?
2 years ago.
So you're going to fill them in, and
First
then
time
you
in
write
my life.
first. Yeah, so you're going to fill them in and write all those things. And by the time you're done, you find out that you live the life that many people haven't. It then brings home your achievement in details. You then look at it and like, so you ask somebody, have you been to Paris? Person says no. You've lived that person in that area. You have a better experience. And you say, have you done bungee jumping? Have you jumped out of a plane before?
No. I don't think that will ever happen.
You always think you never
No, I don't want to die.
Alright, so there's something like that. Oh, have you been to the top of the Eiffel Towers?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
When I went to Paris.
So that is it. All of that then forms a
Yeah.
bunch of things that you write in your book of First.
Yeah, I just wish I went with someone else though. Because I was afraid. I was like, oh gosh, because we sat in the
Was your
hotel
friend
room.
scared?
No, she was scared. She said she's scared of heights and she wouldn't come to the edge with me, couldn't take pictures.
What were you doing by the edge?
I kind of like it. It was nice. I mean, what's the point climbing the tower if you're not going to be on the edge?
It's just to climb the tower, not get frightened on it.
Edge of glory. Sorry.
Your mom and dad should be doing that to you once in a while. I still think there should be a proper English word for that meaning.
No, it won't be the same.
And I believe that
I
I believe that there's a part of this world where that thing should be vulgar.
Why?
I don't know, but you know, it's like when you do this for somebody, they think you're saying hi.
Hi, yeah.
In Nigeria, it's like shaking.
Shaking, yeah.
So you might just say, hey guys, like we do this for
when
all.
you want to say evil someone, that takes you to prison.
Exactly. So you just go in him and say, did you see what he just did? He said, what? He just abused my mom. And he said, what? Ah.
That's true. You have to really be careful,
So,
understand people's cultures as well. That's true, depending way. But I was gonna ask, yeah, what is it that you enjoy doing the most out of all these things that you do?
that would this will be better. I think this should be done. I think so.
I mean,
I'm
you
not.
just displayed that here, just
Okay,
a
so
few seconds.
I'm not the OCD kind of person. No. I'm not. I can lie down here, so I don't have a problem with
This
that.
is why I think you might fire me because I kind of am.
So I'm not going to come into a place and say, oh, this should be done like this or not. But if it is to add value, standpoint in.
Nice.
So yeah.
I think we're alike. That's good. Okay, so I was gonna ask, how long have you been? All these things you've been doing. I mean, you started from somewhere. When was the first time any of this idea hit you, and how long have you been doing it for? What's that journey been like? For
Okay,
you?
so for me, I think, reading and learning how to read from reading and writing from a very early age
Yeah.
contributed to my showing all of this. So I started to read and write from the age of 3.
Wow.
And from that age of 3, I became a must watch by my dad. So he had to monitor me because any printed matter I would read. And that also meant that by the time I was 7, 8, I was already reading J. Chase and romantic novels.
Oh.
And so my dad said, oh no, there's no. All right, so, and I told my dad, I said, if it's printed, and like I said, so he said, okay, read newspapers alone. So, and every time I read newspapers, my thoughts and understanding of the world issues and around and the environment that I'm in grew. And I just learned that at that time, I learned that it was best to expand your mind and go to places that you would ordinarily not have been to. And so I got there with Reader's Digest, I got there with National Geographic, I got there with watching documentaries.
All those Discovery channels.
Yes, Discovery. At that time, they had a channel called Transtel. Transtel, it was a German station, and they used to show a lot of they're the ones that were doing the. There was this games and stuff that we used to do.
These days, it's all about Instagram and social media.
No, but Instagram again is also a learning platform. So for me, I consider every platform, social media, a learning platform. It is what you take out of it that influences you. So I can go there and see a lady exposing her cleavage. It doesn't necessarily, it's no problem for me. I just look at it and that's how she wants to express herself. And then I can go somewhere else and somebody has made the account private. I know that person just wants to be private. So the only place I then have an issue is if the person then begins to make comments on what people say. I'll be like, you can't shut yourself out from others and come on other people's page. And be talking So once I find out that anyone is private, I block the person. Oh, no.
I am very public, okay?
So if you don't have anything to hide, fine. But you can't. Or like people who do not even, they can't create one post. So you go to their page, there's 0 posts. Then they are always on other people's posts making comments. Oh, this post is not nice. So this comment is not nice. So you don't. This English is terrible. And then you go to their page, 0 posts. And I'm like, with all the comments you're making, I should come here and learn from you.
Exactly. You should have something to offer.
And then there are people who do not have anything to offer. They just wait for the comment section to go alive.
And then they join.
And then they jump in without reading captions or even knowing what the comments are all about. So that's true. So for me, it is that everywhere is a learning platform.
True.
And even from watching people, which is one of my best sports I do in pastime. I like watching people. I can just sit at a bus stop or sit at the train station and just watch observe people and just take it. So I'm like a mop. I just take in and soak in all the information that my eyes can see and what I can hear, and put them into use later.
Do you meditate? Do you go through that?
Oh no, but I cannot watch a movie without taking beyond what the producers have.
Yeah. But you've Okay, I'm not gonna go there. But I was gonna say you have acted in like several movies. Anyway.
About 8 or 9.
Wow. The most recent one you acted in
Is what's the name? Kafayat. It's the movie is about to be out. I think that was sometime in March.
March. So is it out or is it just
It's coming. Yes, I think it should come out by the end of the summer.
Are we doing this whole premiere thing?
Oh yes, they do. They always do premiere.
So I'm gonna have to get like an invite from you.
Sure. And you know the thing is that premieres are also part of promotions.
True.
So people just want to put the word out that this movie is out, get people to have a first-hand experience, let the critics go to town, and then you can then use it to know what you do with the next set of movies.
Nice one. Don't worry, we'll help you promote. You're on Afrolit. This is Afrolit.
Thank you very much.
So we're gonna be lifting up Kafayat, right?
Sure.
And it's gonna be banging.
Amen.
I mean, during the premiere, the queue is gonna be this long. Okay, so 35 years in the game, I did read.
Yeah.
Or is it over 35 years? About 35 years.
I think it's over now, yeah.
But your CV is long, like obviously you can't match it. But like I know, like you said, there's more, and that usually happens when God has a purpose for you, and you're living your purpose, so it's natural. I know that's probably why maybe half the time it doesn't feel like work if I'm not wrong.
No, but it's not like work. One thing that guides me every time is that if I don't do this, someone else will. And then if your success doesn't make other people successful, you have failed. You must contribute to people's growth.
Yeah.
You must open the doors for people to walk through and shine. Some people let you in,
yeah,
and dampen you.
True.
But some people let you in and let you
shine.
Exactly. You just shine and so it's like a Banky W and a whiskey.
Yeah.
To give him the platform that you can see the future of. The king, Pharaoh didn't need to play the role of Joseph. He saw the talent in Joseph and took him. Go ahead. And Joseph made a name for himself.
True.
So, but what some people do is that because I'm the king, Joseph can outshine me. And what happens? You then lose out on the vital contribution.
Which he did. He lost a lot.
So it is important for us to know that most times the platforms that you are given is not just for you.
It's for you.
I met a man.
It's bigger than us.
Yes, I met a man one time who told me, he said, the job you do shouldn't be just for you. It should be for people around you and people you interact with, and everybody that comes in contact with you.
Amen to that.
So he said, if you know how to sing and you don't let somebody else enjoy it, you are the only one that knows how to sing. But if you want people to then enjoy the benefit of it, you don't have to make it public.
Sure.
As the Bible says, do not have light and put it on the bushel.
No, but it's true. You said it right. I was gonna ask. So, how often do you come to London? Because I'm only asking because I don't know if okay, I'm not sure you remember, and you probably do. You had a show in 2019.
Yes, I did.
At Lighthouse.
Yeah.
I hosted.
At O2.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, there was a show.
There was a show in Lighthouse. We did several, by the way.
Yeah.
But the one in Lighthouse, I did the red carpet on the day for Bright Nights Dutch.
Sure.
Yeah, and obviously since then I was like, where is this man? So I'm just curious, how often is it?
Okay, for me, I actually want to do one show in London, do one in Canada, do one in the US, and maybe do one in Dubai. So it is that because I get very busy at home in Nigeria, there's no need to then get tied up in all those external shows that then takes away from the core ones that I do at home. Because truly, the profit or the return on investment on those shows outside Nigeria is not as much as one show that I do in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So it is one to feed the passion of friends and fans who are outside Nigeria and to continue to push.
So just to even just like show face for people that care outside as well, not just
because there was one time.
So if you think money wise, you will probably just want to carry.
Oh yes, a friend asked me one time and said, "Why are you not coming to do your shows?" And I was like, "My comedy shows." I said, "There's no need. My jokes have been there."
That was actually funny. That was funny. Wow.
I may not be the one that I've told them, but the jokes have gone around. So I think that I come in once in a while, and apart from that, I come into London to do shows, private events. So as long as I have my work permit, I just come and do the event and I get back.
So you have been to London?
Oh yes, I've been to London since 2019. I've been to London about like 3-4 times.
Okay. All right. So I was gonna ask, like, were you also affected by COVID? Like, did that have any positive or negative impact on your business?
Oh, greatly. Because since 2019, I couldn't do the 2020 show. I couldn't do the 2021 show. See, and because of COVID too, I have a concert in Nigeria called the January 1st concert. It's a big concert on the 1st of January, so the New Year celebration. And I couldn't also do it in 2021. In 2022, we did one, but in 2020 and 2021 we couldn't do it.
Oh wow! Because so have you been able to recover to an extent, or how?
Yes. We did the 2022 concerts. That was.
So did that make up for the year before?
Well, it can't make up.
It's just in case of moving forward.
It can't make up, but it was a good thing that we're back to business. Right?
And it's good news.
Yes, quite a lot of entertainers and artists suffered terrible blows. One of it is that there's so many artists who survive from acting movies, and those movies must be shown in cinemas. And if those movies don't get shown in cinemas, then they don't make money. And then during the lockdown, fashion designers too had problems because people were not thinking of wearing new clothes. If you had a red carpet, somebody would wear something new.
Exactly. So a lot of people got kind of like affected by that.
There's a lot of ministries too who were affected because people were not going to work. The gathering of the folk also were affected because people were not coming to drop tithes and offering, and so the ministries could not grow like they should have. Interpersonal relationships suffered too. There are people whose relationship could not survive a year because of that COVID. The fact that they were so far apart and different. Some of them didn't last very long.
Some people actually in the same house probably got frustrated with each other. There was apparently abuse at home actually increased. So
that also became a problem.
And a lot of people passed. And a lot of people went through so
restaurants,
much.
So many restaurants. But it then kicked off new businesses that you could do.
I know, new concept, new ideas, people working online, working from home.
And with that, so many people who were entertained on social media got a break. Because people were now feeding off the content that they sparked up everything.
Yeah, that's true, I agree. Okay, so like I know that you're like massively busy. How do you fit in family life?
Well, you see, because I work for myself, and you know, when you're a creative, of the 24 hours, you probably just get creative for about like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
And nobody still makes a demand for the next 20 hours from you. You determine how you spend that.
True.
Unlike if you work in an 9 to 5, you have to give your company the 9 to 5.
True.
And then what is left of them
is what you have to now go and well, now you can kind of like juggle and cope and stuff.
So for me, I have ample time to play with the kids, to relate with anybody, have time for myself, read and work.
Can I just say, like, through your journey so far, like, is there anything you would do differently?
Oh yes, I'm sure I would have started earlier. What? Yes, I would have started earlier.
When you say earlier,
when I started at about 18, 19, to be creative.
What age did you start?
I think I started for like 25.
That's not too bad. But I get you kind of wanted to, I kind of started late too. So. Yeah, I'm calling. Yeah, I'm calling on that level. But it's true. Okay, so is there anything you would advise a young person today trying to pursue this career professionally?
One is that they should read expansively. They should listen and learn from mentors. In my case, when I wanted to become a comedian, there were no precedents. So stand-up comedy was not really like a big thing in Nigeria. There were comedians, were slapstick comedians, and masters of ceremonies who had a great sense of humor.
Yeah.
But there were no commercial stand-up comedians.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I came on the scene, we helped to turn that around. So I would tell
you
you a lot of them.
break.
Yeah, so even at the time that I became a comedian, it took me like 3-4 years before I broke even.
Wow.
But now, if you're a good comedian, a year is just enough for you to hit the ground.
I mean, if you're still struggling after a year, you have a lot of work to do.
Sure. And then the platforms that are available now were not available back then.
True.
Social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
How well do you use those? Do you manage your social media?
Oh yes, I manage my social media myself.
Oh wow. So you have all your passwords. You're not giving anybody.
No.
If I say borrow me, will you borrow me?
Oh yes, depends on which one you want. So I have a personal social media page on Instagram.
Yeah.
I have one for the business. Alibaba has one.
Yeah.
Toyota has one. And same thing with Facebook.
Wow. It's not really playing around.
No, you have to be serious with that because you need to be seen as serious. Even when you're not serious.
Yeah. Like just where you're sitting.
I've seen someone who is in Germany. He
Yeah.
had a picture and then under I saw professional clown. I was like, hey, slow down.
You must have been like, what?
So I then Googled his name, we went to Facebook, we went to Instagram, and I actually saw that the guy is a professional clown.
And you guys paid for that. Can you imagine? And that's how it is. It's true. Okay, so the name of the show is Alibaba The Return.
Yeah.
Celebrating African medical professionals.
Yeah.
I want to know what inspired you to want to talk about African medical professionals.
Okay, so you know that there's been a brain drain in the last two decades.
Sure.
Of people who were in the medical sector, even people who were not in the medical sector. You find somebody who read law, comes into the UK, picks up a course in nursing,
and then straight away.
And so,
that's true.
There's a lady. She has a law degree. Came into London while she was waiting to pass the bar exams.
Yeah.
She took to nursing and found out she was making more money than she would have made if she became a lawyer.
She must have thought, you know what? I mean,
shift. And so it is important for us to celebrate this people because when this COVID struck, people's relationship broke up. Some people had to make personal sacrifices. Some even died. Some people lost their lives within that time. Some had relationships that then broke up because there was a friend of mine who said because the husband was working with NHS, he would come home, the daughter would not, and the daughter and the father were so close. But within the time or during the period of COVID, he couldn't play with the child. He would come from work, go into his room, have his bath, he would bring the food, put in front of his door, he would take it in, eat, and close the door and drop the plates back. And so he would be going to work, the daughter would come by the window, he would put his hand by the window like this and play with her, but it wasn't enough.
No, it wasn't.
And so when he leaves for work, the daughter cries for at least 10, 20, 30 minutes before she sleeps. And when she wakes up again, she wakes up with my daddy, I love my daddy. You know? And so the trauma was so bad when COVID and when they started giving the vaccines and the injections and everything. And the man had time to play with the daughter. Both of them were crying. So it's traumatic for a lot of them. Don't talk about the ones that lost their lives. There are many widows and widowers who are casualties of this, the victims of this COVID as well. So the plan is to have this show, put on stage a lot of medical jokes and jokes that are COVID related, health related, just to celebrate the people who work in the medical profession. And so it is all of them, caregivers, to the drivers, to the lawyers, to the cleaners, everybody that works in the medical sector, just to celebrate them. Because of the work that they were the front line people. So it's just like when you have a war and then the soldiers go to fight. What happens? Every time we celebrate the soldiers. So this time let's celebrate the medical team.
Oh wow, that's amazing. I think that's super dope. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you like first of all what we do is like super amazing, okay? I can't express it.
Thank you.
I'm more action speaks louder than words, so I usually don't have much to say. When I hear things that make my head just blow like that. But I was gonna ask you, how do you keep relevant and stay on top of your game? I mean, you know, you've won so many awards. I know you're not doing it for the awards particularly, but it doesn't mean like you said, you know, you're recognizing and celebrating these amazing people, and you're also amazing. People recognize that, and they obviously give you like several awards. I mean, you got Ambrose Ali. I don't even know what that is, but you have to tell me. Ambrose Ali, in 2020. Well, I'm thinking, okay, and I had to go through like I think 4 pages or 3 pages of your award. I was like, ah.
Okay, so what happens those times is that awards an end to certain things. For instance, if you've been creative and you say, "Oh, we recognize you for this," and they give you the award, what they've said is, "You've done well. That's it. Now do better." So it's like when you win the 100 meters this year, you have to win the 100 meters another year again. So it's like we recognize you for this one that you've done. It's a new slate. It's a clean slate. Go ahead and break ground again. So for me, I get a lot of recognitions. I respect and feel honored to receive all of them. But there's certain awards that come to you and you're like, oh wow. Like when I was to ring the closing bell of the stock exchange. So that was big for me. When the World Rotary Club gave me Paul Harris Fellow. Made me Paul Harris Fellow. That was big for me as well. Well, there was an award from the United Nations. There was another one from the United States Embassy in Lagos. Several awards like that. So all of this just to, and then I was made Man of the Year. Silver Bed Man of the Year.
Wow.
That was also good for me. It just speaks to the fact that some of the things you're doing are appreciated. And it also says it's a heavy load on your shoulders.
True.
Because now you have to live above board. Because there are many people who are looking up to you. And you don't want anybody in any home going, see this person.
That's true.
Look at him. So it makes you live extra carefully.
True. Yeah, wow, that's amazing. Okay, so I'm gonna say, is there anything that you want so far, or any awards that or something, anything you think you're looking forward to, or you think you've missed, or you would not really miss, but like you would work towards and like get?
Yeah, I want to have a franchise of comedy clubs across the world.
What?
Yes, I want to have just like KFC.
But you're not KFC.
Yeah.
But I get you, girl.
So just like KFC. So where laughter can be dispensed.
That is mad.
So that's what we're working on.
Can you see how my eyes?
That's what we're working on. We're working on it. And then we want to have an African center in as many places as possible in the world. African centers where the story of Africa, the richness of Africa, the beauty of Africa, the culinary art in Africa, the fashion, the accessories and everything in Africa that is celebrated.
That's amazing.
So we're working on that as well. So it's going to be grand, and we're probably starting with the UK and the US first.
My brain is smiling. Okay, I am that unique child.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. All right. So amongst all these things, amongst all of it, what do you do for fun?
Movies?
Because this, that is, I thought that was work.
No, movies, I like to watch movies.
Oh, you watch.
When I'm not working, I sleep and wake up on Netflix.
Oh,
On,
do you binge watch?
Prime.
You watch like 5,000
So,
episodes.
so for me, really, sometimes it's work when I'm enjoying it,
Yeah.
and then with my remote, I then flip back and say, "Oh, there's a joke there."
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah. So, for instance, I was watching a movie one time in 2012, and this man comes from work.
Yeah.
And gets into the house, opens the door, and the wife goes, "Pow!" and slaps him. The foreign movie.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy is like, "Oh, sorry, I lost my phone." So I said, just place that in an African setting. They will call the girl's family. They will call their pastor to come and
Do that
deliver.
woman will sleep in that house. Forget about family anymore.
So that's the kind of thing that we're talking about. It's that you watch the movie and you get materials that you can work on. That's one. Then the other thing is that I also relax by swimming.
Okay.
Until lately, because of my knees, I used to be very athletic. I'm a 100 meters runner.
Okay. Wow.
When I was in school, I could do about like 11.5. And until Usain Bolt and the rest of them came
They took over
and reduced the number to such as if
they didn't do us any favors. I don't understand what they're on.
You know. So then I did long jump, which is actually the biggest problem to my knees.
Yeah, because you have to kind of like
take off and land on them, and then the worst of it is the triple jump.
You did that?
Yeah, triple jump where you land 1, 2, 3, and take off. Those things kill the way. And then basketball, volleyball, any game that you play where you go up and then come back on your knees also affect knees. And I play football too.
Do you like your knees?
I love them. And so now I'm working on the cartilage. So the cartilage are going to grow back, stem cells, and the rest of them.
Please
So when I will.
Please.
I will. Hey guys, my name is Alibaba and you're watching Afrolit.